Game 82 of 82 is finally done. The Chicago Blackhawks lose 5-4 in overtime to the LA Kings. Yes, the season is over for the Chicago Blackhawks as well. We are finish the season out 31st out of 32 teams in the league. And this is the end of the season, and the Hawks now have to go into a long off season once again. As the Hawks lose 5-4 to the LA Kings in overtime, they blew it. They frankly blew it. They had the lead going into the final minute and a half, and Kurashev flips the puck over the glass for a delay a game penalty. If that tells you anything about the Chicago Blackhawks in the 24 season, it's that. The Hawks had issues all season long, and we saw multiple issues that occurred in this one. Also, energy level by the Blackhawks in the final game of play was not there. They played like crap. They frankly should have been blown out in this game, but they didn't. They managed to have a lead, blow the lead, be down by 2, and take the lead back. That's how this game went in the final game of the year. Getting outshot 36-13. Arvid Soderblom, he frankly got hung out to dry. Granted, he made there were some goals that probably he should have had saved. I have to mention that. The defense, we only had 5 defensemen out there tonight compared to a normal 6. So we were short a D-man because Murphy, before the game, was taken out of the lineup. Zaitsev was still been injured. So the Hawks were already down multiple defensemen. We couldn't call up anyone because we're in California, not in Illinois. And as soon as the clock hits midnight on the season comes to an end. So let's get into the goals of the game, shall we? In the first period, getting outshot in this first period at one point, 10-1, the Hawks get on the board first. And it came at 15:39 in the first period, scored by number 27, Lucas Reichel, his 5th on the season, unassisted, going on a breakaway, deking Cam Talbot out of his pads, and in. It's 1-0 Hawks. But the Hawks hold that 1-0 lead to go into the second period, where LA comes out on their attack that they were doing all throughout the first period of play. And, well, they got it on the board 4 minutes and 37 seconds into the second period. Victor Arvidsson scores his 5th of the season, assisted by Deneau and Moore, to make it a 1-1 game 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the second. LA continues their pressure, and, well, they get a power play late in the period at 16:04 in the second period. Quentin Byfield on the doorstep gets his 20th of the season, assisted by Deneau and Spence, to make it 2-1 LA. Just a minute later at 17:24, Trevor Moore scores his 31st of the season, assisted by Arvidsson and Deneau, to make it 3-1 LA. Hawks, in a span of 40 minutes, they were the worst team on the ice. They were getting outshot in each of those 2 periods, 14-4 in the first, 11-3 in the second, and we go to the third period where the Hawks have a power play to start the period off, and it comes at 1:28 in the third period, scored by number 90, Tyler Johnson, his 17th on the season, assisted by number 55, Kevin Korchinski, and number 8, Ryan Donato, to get the game within 1. It's a 2-3 game now. And just after this, at 3:42 in the third period. Scored by number 15, Joey Anderson. His 5th of the season. Assisted by number 84, Landon Slager. To tie the game all up, effort works here on this goal. Slager battling on the boards, feeds the puck up the ice over to Joey Anderson to go in onto the crease and in. It's tied up by Anderson. It's a 3-3 game, and the Hawks have momentum. 3 minutes later at 6:28 in the third period. Scored by number 8, Ryan Donato. The player who scored the first goal on the Blackhawks season this year gets his 12th of the year, and it ends up being the last goal on the Blackhawks season. Assisted by number 58, Mackenzie Entwistle, to give the Hawks the 1-goal lead. It's 4-3 Hawks. Hawks and Kings after this goal, it was this back and forth play up to the final 5.5 minutes. We get a horn to go to commercial break. Hawks and Kings pressing. Kings knowing they just need 1 point to manage to face the Edmonton Oilers in the standings in the playoffs. They're pressing. They have to score, and the Hawks have the opportunity to ice the game, but with LA pulling their goalie, Philip Kershaw flips the puck over the glass, and it's a delay of game. So a 6-on-4 power play for the LA Kings at 18:39 in the third period. Victor Arvidsson is 2nd of the game, 6th of the season, assisted by Byfield and Kempe to make it a 4-4 game, and that goes to overtime. LA goes 2 for 4 on the power play, where the Hawks PK, they blew it late. That's how it goes. And we go to overtime. Hawks start the overtime off. It doesn't last long because Hawks lose the faceoff. Adrian Kempe goes down the ice with the puck and just beats Korchinski. Korchinski just caught looking, and Soderblom doesn't make much of an attempt to make a save, and the LA Kings beat the Blackhawks in overtime, winning this game 5-4. So that's the season. The Hawks 23-24 season ends in a overtime loss to the LA Kings. I have to mention this. It may be the end of the regular season, and it's the end of Hawks reviews for games, but it's now the off season. As we know, we are a rebuilding team. We knew we weren't going to make it to the playoffs, but that doesn't mean it's the end of me making videos, because I do have another video coming out sometime later today, because technically it is Friday, the 19th at this point, because the game ended at midnight in Illinois. So the Hawks lose it. It's the season over, but I have to mention this. I'm going to still do stuff for the channel, keep stuff going, even in the off season. Work hard, get stuff going, because maybe the season over, but there's a lot to come. The Hawks are back in the draft lottery, with this time the second best odds to win the first overall pick. If they do that, we end up, I think, could accelerate the rebuild even more. But no counts on us winning the lottery. The Hawks are going to have to do a lot of work this offseason. Frankly, I'm sorry, Soderblom. I know you played well enough tonight, but this season was not it. He, in his first full season as a backup in the NHL, he frankly wasn't it. I have to mention that. There was issues on defense. There's issues on the offense. Hawks offense really was only relying more on Bedard and that's not how it needs to go. They need to get some shooters. They need to get some veteran defensemen to pair with Kevin Korchinski in the next year. They need to honestly look into positions, goalies, defense, and offense. This is the year where the rebuild is changing into let's acquire pieces, get them put in this lineup, and make this team a competitive team going into next year. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe a backup goalie, maybe a veteran defenseman, and maybe like a Chris Tanev. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe one like maybe bringing back Teuvo Teravainen or Jake Gensel, or doing something out of the norm and actually buy a top free agent. I'm talking about you, Steven Stamkos, if you want to come help be a leader in Chicago. But this is the season. The season is over. Off season is here. The Hawks are going to do a lot. We're going to do, I will cover every bit of it. Tomorrow, I will have a video out where I predict the Stanley Cup, even though I've not been good at it the last few years. So we'll see how that goes. So down in the comments down below, I want to hear what your favorite memory is from this season. Mine, I'm going to have to go with probably all the games I've went to this year, to the point where I was at Chris Chelios's banner raising ceremony, and that being Patrick Kane's return. I had the video of the overtime of Kane scoring. I also was at Frank Nazar's NHL debut, which was fun to be at. I was at Landon Slager's NHL debut. I was at Connor Bedard's United Center debut, and it was awesome. I was at the home opener. I was at the season finale in Chicago. I went to so many games this year. There were a lot to talk about. I know this year some reviews were into the short formatted review. It was mainly because it was hard to talk about this team at points. Tonight, I know this is the final game of the year. That's why I wanted to go full review, talking about what's to come. It's not over. We're going to be here still, because this is still the 5th year of Windy City Hockey. We go into our 6th year in July, and we will keep going. This is a thing I've loved putting together, and this season, another bad season, we're here to go. So down in the comments down below, I want to hear what your favorite memory is from this season, and thank you for watching the broadcast. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I know you did not enjoy the outcome, and most of all, let's go Hawks.